So on this one. Kaju Jingelo, Nimbaba de Chitosundo, Tambasata, Singata, Tambasata, Kundo, Yaba, Charlotte Swan, Nogodo. Don't age us in the Megawato, the Jukucha, Chechakala, Keratin, which is the way of the Dillan of Tabacon. Go Rinpoche Laguja, the Conqueted in a kitchen, Chawaka Lamar in the Tabu, Chechensha Pella. On the Jojo don't get you dinner, this your Lomor Jubaka, and the shooting child of the seven double content. That's all some jet and no chosen to watching yellow, so Chalumbo watching yellow, Salam took us over yellow. Two by issues to tower changing love. Good morning, everybody. We are very fortunate to have this precious opportunity reflect in the wisdom of the Buddha. That's such a precious. The reason because you see, everybody desire for peace and happiness. It's universal. It's unfabricated nature. Even not only human beings, even the animals, insects, were in that field, in that ground. Also, nobody desires suffering. Those who don't believe anything, but in their life, they want to be free from suffering. Physical suffering, mental suffering. So, having said that, now you see, there's so many things is invented or discovered, or we're doing things to free from suffering, to have some peace and happiness. Politically, scientifically, business-wise, technologies, science, all are involved in this field. Also, we have a lot of different religions. We believe this and that. This is what I believe. This is what we believe. This is what they believe. It's also the idea is to free from suffering. The idea is to have peace and happiness. See? So we should understand that. You ask why everybody desires for peace and happiness. Why not somebody say, if suffering comes, I'm okay? Nobody said that, isn't it? Even small insects, when there comes little obstacles in their life, they try to run away. They try to make everything what they can. Because we're suffering, the suffering is from the mistake we made. The result of the mistake we made, from that we are experiencing suffering. And then you see, now what kind of course we are making for the future. It's very important to reflect on this. See. So Buddha, historically, who taught, not as a Buddhism or some Buddha created. Sometimes we say Buddhism, something like Buddha created. But in reality, this our historical Buddha, born as a prince in the northern part of Himalaya, in a very privileged family life. He got all excellent opportunity to study all this knowledge, including different belief systems. He studied all of them, and until 29, he stayed in the kingdom to see all the people in that area, what they want. There are some are very good lives, some are very difficult lives. He saw all those things. Then in his prime time, 29, he left the kingdom for good. Not only just he left, first he enjoyed his life in that such a rich family. But then that through his wisdom, that is not the ultimate for peace and happiness. So he left for good. And then he went through hardship, as you know, without eating, without food. Such a hardship life for 6 years. That's all to free from the sun for peace and happiness. He went through all this training step by step. He achieved such a high meditative state. Very high, very profound. Still, he was not satisfied. And as you know, he went further to Bodh Gaya. In Bodh Gaya, then he meditated. I need the last, the ultimate truth that I need to see. Until I achieve that, no matter what happened, I will stay here.
Please kindly increase audio. Thank you.
Attention. Without any distraction. But by the power of the strength of that determination, then you see it's called the samadhi, the meditative concentration, and the special insight, the total and kindling the special insight by synchronizing these two in the mind. Then he captured the ultimate truth. So he knew that he was enlightened. He's not presuming, I guess maybe I'm enlightened. You see, he's not presuming, maybe I'm enlightened, but he directly knows that now there's no question is left. Everything is answered. That's called enlightenment. From then, and he was called Buddha, fully awakened person. When he saw, what he saw, the total nature of the samsara and nirvana. Total. So through that wisdom, he captured complete reality nature of the all phenomena, both samsara and nirvana. And with that wisdom and the great compassion was just manifested from that wisdom, how sentient beings are suffering. You know?
Brother, please kindly increase audio. Thank you.
Everybody knows that, you know? The Four Noble Truths, the truth of the suffering. There are so many layers of the suffering.
Audio system, brother, tolong.
We know very precisely.
Cannot hear audio.
Animals that we see, there are so many different types of animals, insects, you know, these the mammals in
Please
the ocean,
kindly
on the
increase
land,
audio, brother. Thank
birds,
you.
all this you see. And human beings, look at all the human beings. Maybe we have different races, different color, lot of differences there, but the suffering we go through is shared by everyone.
Dạ là quá đề cả lúc dạ là.
So that's what's called the universal truth.
Chắc mai câu quá hay tạm
Captured
luôn.
the wisdom. So I realize the total nature of all this. And because it's so complex, he said, this is not so easy to understand. But then he taught those teachings, starting with the beginning of since nobody wants the suffering. So that's what you don't want the suffering. So you should know about the suffering, because a lot of things were misunderstood about the suffering. So what are those suffering? The direct suffering, the hidden suffering, different phases of suffering. So after explaining of those, then you see he taught the origin of suffering, the cause of suffering. What are the cause of suffering? Are the suffering manifested without cause, or through incomplete cause, or through wrong cause? So he explained all those things. Then next he touched, is there a way to free from the suffering? Say, yes, this is called cessation, the nirvana. There is a way to free from suffering. Now, to achieve that cessation of suffering, we have to follow the path. So he taught 37 branches of enlightenment. You know those in the jewel ornament of liberation. And the 5 parts is explained so detail about that, step by step. So these 4 noble truths Buddha explained. See, so we should see that it's not something Buddha created, but something Buddha captured, the reality nature. It is called the basic foundation of all the phenomena, as it is. It's not something Buddha created, something that we have to believe. So Buddha didn't say, you believe me, Instead, you should study, understand what I said, because what I saw. That's very important, first of all, So Buddha's teaching is not just only for monks and nuns. Buddha's teaching is not just only for Buddhists, but the Buddha's teaching is for every sentient beings. As we said the prayer, may all mother sentient beings have happiness and causes of happiness. We said that. We didn't say, may all Buddhists have happiness, You see, in the monastery, we don't say, all the monks and nuns may have happiness and, causes happiness, The prayer is said for all the sentient beings. So we are all in one reality nature. See, so when you study, practice Buddha's teaching, we should have that kind of first background. Then our study practice can be very productive. So I want peace and happiness. I want to free from suffering. There's no question about that. Now, my happiness, my peace, can I achieve just saying prayers? Buddha give me some prayer and Buddha give me some blessings so that I may have some peace and happiness. Please, Buddha, give me some blessing so that I can be free from my suffering. If Buddha has that way to do that, we don't need to say that prayer. Buddha's mind is pervaded to all the sentient beings. Buddha will do it. Since that's not the case, Buddha taught the teachings you should follow. That's what there comes take refuge. See, taking refuge is not something, converting into Buddhist, but it's a path, it's a cause, how to free from suffering, how to achieve enlightenment. So we should understand that as well. Sometimes we're taking refuge, I wait, so take refuge is a big responsibility. We're afraid, So we think if you don't take refuge, then maybe your life is easier. You are not entrapped. So you take refuge, you are trapped. Now, we have that kind of mentality. This is all a wrong perception, misunderstood. So taking refuge is which will come here in the text. Taking refuge is the way how to free from suffering. So see that nature. So therefore, just as the beginning mentioned, we're so fortunate. We have this life. We have interest in the Dharma teachings. We have time to study, practice. This due to our great kind of accumulation of the merit of good karma from many lifetimes that we have achieved in this life, especially now the 21st century. Life is so hectic, so busy. To study, practice Dharma, we have very little time. Keeps us so busy at the smartphone, See, you can't avoid smartphone, So just even your friend, you're next looking at you, you just look at your smartphone. Hey, your friend, you lost your friend. See, so no time to sit, reflect to yourself. Just involved in the smartphone. All the informations, there's one after another. So in such kind of condition, in this 21st century, so this time we got together, reflect on Dharma teachings like this, so precious. We were so fortunate. That's reality nature. I'm not deluding you, You see, sometimes you may say, maybe he's deluding us, He's encouraging us to come here and delude our mind, So, yeah, first look at that, reflect on this. I'm so fortunate. During this pandemic, we are locked down, and through that pandemic, many people died, as you see. And also because of that lockdown, our mind psychologically tortured and disturbed mind, depressed. Many people suicide as well from this, you see. But now it's relatively open. We can come together, reflect on this. It's reminding as a follower of Buddha, how these teachings are so precious. It's wisdom. Our focus on the outside phenomena, the 5 sensual objects, so powerful. Bringing our mind back to our own mind is very difficult. If you could sit 5 minutes without any distraction, look at how much peace is there. So much. You don't realize how that peace is so profound, so precious. If you could reflect, just sit 5 minutes, 10 minutes, relax, reflect to yourself. Ease it. And there's a great refreshment in the mind, in the body, you see. It's a healing of the mind and the body. Then all this different, the health system they're built, so this is good for you, this is good for you, this is good for you, you take this, you do this, that. There's so much, But the best is to reflect yourself, to ease your mind, and keep the mind as it is. And body go with that. It's the best health in your mind, in your body, you see. Just for this life, before we enlightenment, before enlightenment, just for this life, just for today. In the morning when your mind is so disturbed, you just reflect, take a deep breath, relax, and that eases you. Especially you say this prayer, may all sentient beings have peace and happiness. Just reflect. Even those who hate me, who makes me miserable, may they have also peace and happiness. Just say that, meditate on that. That's the greatest healing. So that shows, first of all, that shows how the mind is powerful. See, your mind is the most powerful. We don't realize that. So Buddha's teaching is about the mind. I usually say anywhere I go, the modern technologies are so powerful. The weapons they created so powerful, very destructive. And the scientists, the finding of the scientists' things are so impressive. But still, your mind is more powerful than anything. If our mind is the wrong place, that is such a destructive. It destroys whole your life and others. When the mind is built in such enlightened mind called bodhicitta, if you build your mind in that, and that is the greatest peace you can achieve. Not from any other else. So this all are within our own mind. Still now, the scientists are searching for mind, using all this sophisticated machine, you see, telescope, you see. But these machines are what? They are just matter. They are not consciousness, you see. So matter cannot find the consciousness. Consciousness is the clarity of the mind. Its nature is empty, yet within emptiness manifests all these thoughts. So the matter cannot find the consciousness. They cannot find directly, you see. So they're using brain. So now this brain is the mind, they say, You look at the brain, it's just a piece of flesh. How far you can go. Mind, how much you can think every day. All these thoughts, how the machine can measure, cannot. So Buddha captured that, total, perfected. From that, Buddha taught the teachings. You just imagine, Buddha taught this over 2,500 years ago. The Buddha's taught teachings, Four Noble Truths, still in the 21st century, is fresh, intact. There's nothing to change. Only we have difficulties. We have difficulty to understand that. We have not enough mental power to capture what Buddha said. See, like the virtue, non-virtue, the cause of peace and happiness, the cause of suffering, what Buddha taught is still, there's nothing to change. There's nothing to change. You see how amazing it is. How precious that is. So we just need to only follow that. All the rituals are secondary. They are method. If you know, they are method. No. But Buddha's teaching itself, Four Noble Truths, every Buddhist, anywhere you go, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, everybody, they know the Four Noble Truths because we are following one Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. He taught all the teachings. So sometimes we explain something differently, So then it depends on individual who communicates. Those who have highly accomplished in their realization of this all reality of phenomena, they have something to say differently than those intellectual. Those who are so intellectualized have not experienced the depth, but so intellectualized, so they have their own system to communicate. But reality, Buddha's nature, Buddha's teaching is no difference. And it shows how the mind is so vast. Even within in the Theravada, there are so many systems, so many branches. Even in Mahayana, there are so many different scholars, they explain differently. Even in Vajrayana, different scholars, different teachers, they explain differently. That shows how Buddha's teaching is so vast, so profound. So here in the said at the end, in the middle, in this text, when you know one thing, you know everything. See, and Milarepa said that, I am, as I said, I know one thing, I'm wise for everything, Milarepa said. And I know everything into one point. So this is what we have to reflect to our own mind. That's what the one is, the mind. So before I say too much, maybe we'll touch the text, okay? So these are some just beginning, the introduction, what Buddha's teaching is about. It's all about is the mind, how to work with our own mind. Our mind is 24 hours with us. So how to help with ourselves. So the name of the text is 35 pieces of heartfelt advice. or the 35 hard advice, something like that, by Dukung Dharmakirti. Dukung Dharmakirti here mentioned his birth and death. He came in the 17th century. He was he studied when he was young. He got excellent opportunity to study all the basic knowledge, and then all the training, Mahamudra, 6 years Narupa, and he wrote many books. There are about, I think, 15 volumes is writing there. So many songs that is there. So in Dukunka Judas, we have it's called Chasang and Chungzang. Chasang is the older brother, and Chungzang is the younger brother. So Dharmakirti was the younger brother of first Chasang, Kunjorana. Kunjorana was his older brother. So when he passed away, Dharmakirti recognized the Kunjorana's rebirth. So that became the Chasang. When Dharmakirti passed away, then the second Chasang recognized Dharmakirti. That became Chungzang. So that in Dukung lineage, Chasang and Chungzang came and hold the thrones of the Jigte Songkul. Yeah. So Dharmakirti was contemporary with the 5th Dalai Lama. So the 5th Dalai Lama admired Dharmakirti's wisdom. They have meeting, they met together, they discussed the Dharma, and the 5th Dalai Lama was very inspired. Dharmakirti's wisdom, realization for this. Okay. And now the text itself, there's a beginning, and there's a middle, the end. The beginning paying homage, and then actual teaching, and then conclusion. The first is said, you who have perfected the cultivation of the two accumulations, and is now carrying the burden of loving kindness for infinite beings, and have been appointed as chief of the exalted activities of all victors. To you, root guru, powerful Vajradhara, I frustrate. So Dharmakirti is paying homage to his great teacher. So this what it shows the quality of the root guru. Yeah, you can understand that. You say the root guru, who have perfected the cultivation of two accumulations. Accumulation of merit, accumulation of wisdom. If you understand from these 6 parameters, the first 5 parameters, the parameter perfection of generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, samadhi, these are the accumulation of merit. So when you exercise on these practices, generosity, not only giving wealth, but giving fearlessness, giving wisdoms, giving the opportunities, sharing your skillful means, helping others. Whatever you can do, free from all the boundaries. Your heart is open for all others. A joyous practice. If you give smile to others, it's giving. So that one. And morality means it will come down, but here, avoiding all the non-virtues, the cause of suffering, accumulating all the cause for peace and happiness. That's what's called morality, moral ethics. Then patience. Patience about the, you see, when you encounter suffering, obstacles, when you encounter individuals who are not easy, how to handle those. Sometimes Dharma teaching is so profound, so vast, you're overwhelmed. During those times, you need the patience to go through, to study, practice that. It's got patience. Then perseverance, joyous effort. There's some, you look at, there's some individuals, they're so joyful, making a lot of problems, So if they are joyful in such kind, why not you enjoy in the Dharma practice to free from suffering, to achieve enlightenment? See, those individuals who involve all the negativities, still they enjoy. And their suffering is immense. So much suffering there. You can see in the world now there, there's some are suffering so much. Why? Because we individuals have that kind of, the cause we have created. So here Dharma study means make your mind practice with bodhicitta. Just joyfully follow the path. If you get 5 minutes to take yourself in a place to rest, reflecting on the suffering of sentient beings, reflecting the all desire for peace and happiness, so joyful. So it's called perseverance. Then samadhi, meditative concentration, or karma abiding. You make your mind calm, peaceful, relaxed. Even before you achieve the special insight, becomes a good foundation to practice Dharma. So these 5 is called, they are called the accumulation of merit. Then the 6th one is a wisdom. And when you have the special, this wisdom is not just regular wisdom, knowledge. This wisdom is capturing the meaning of the emptiness. When you realize the emptiness of all phenomena, then all the confusion has no place to exist. So that's called accumulation of wisdom. So these 2, accumulation of merit, accumulation of wisdom, when they come together, synchronize, then that becomes the direct cause we to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood. So this cultivation of the 2 accumulations. So perfect that. That makes the person perfect, okay? Because all our delusions, that which we make mistakes, are purified, perfected. And from there, transition. Then from that wisdom, you come to know the sentient being's situation in the samsara. They are suffering, sentient beings, how much they want peace and happiness. But they are running after their peace and happiness. It's like chasing mirage. There's no way one day I achieve the full peace and happiness. They are desperate, but within that, they are in the in the diluted state, in the suffering. See? So these enlightened beings, including this group, then has such great compassion, loving kindness. So they're saying it's now carrying the burden of loving kindness for infinite beings. Not just one, not just your friends, not just your family, but everybody in the samsara. So they carry the big burden on their shoulder. How I can help these sentient beings? I can go to the hell realm to benefit sentient beings. They have such great courage, wisdom, skill. So that's saying, and have been appointed as the chief of the exalted activities of all victors, all Buddhas. So all the enlightened beings, they appointed this who has all these excellent qualities to benefit sentient beings. Yes, you can do. It's not giving some kind of title. Sometimes we get a high title, but nothing, This is who has all the qualities, and then you can benefit sentient beings. Please go ahead, So there's appointed. You're kind of appointed. You are celebrated. All this enlightened state, So please do this activities, the peaceful, the wrathful, the magnetizing, the increasing activities can perform, benefit sentient beings. See, because of this, our mind, as mentioned, so complex. Our mind is so profound. Only one way cannot benefit all sentient beings. We need so much skillful methods, so many ways that we need to communicate with these activities. So the teachers need these qualities to benefit sentient beings. It's not something high status. These are designed a way, a method, how to prolong the Buddha's teaching in the samsara. See, very important. Then with that, why we need to prolong the Buddha's teaching in the samsara? Sentient beings need guidance, proper guidance, method, Just by giving blessing, not enough. So, just touching the head is not enough. You see, we need guidance, we need teachings. You see, there is no negotiation. Yes, Sometimes we negotiate, What about if I pay this much? It's okay. So teachers has to take full responsibility, and then Dharma student also should take full responsibility. See, it's interdependent, interconnected. Okay. So that is it means to you, root guru, powerful Vajra. That's what's called Vajradhara. That's called Buddha. Buddha is not something, top head. There's a top note on the head, and there's some where, there are 32 major marks. So Buddha has those. Those are, of course, a sign, some auspicious sign, but they are not the Buddha. The Buddha is the mental enlightenment. But as mentioned here, all of creations are purified, and all the excellent qualities are manifested. awakened. That's called Buddha. Doesn't matter who they are. Just for example, Milarepa attend Buddhahood, isn't it? It's universal. Everybody agrees. But if you look at him, no, I don't think he has all this. No, he wears a very ragged cloth. No, and then there's some scholars that criticize him. He's a stupid, wondering he's gathering some stupid disciples, and so some kind of singing songs, So when you're mentally fully awakened, that's called Buddha. Okay. So that is called Buddha. That's Vajradhara. So to that, Dharmakirti says, I foster it. You see how important that one is. Paying homage. He's not saying I like my teacher. He's expressing the qualities of the teacher. To that teacher who has the ability, all this to help benefit, help the sentient beings, I foster it. Means I take refuge. I follow you. This one. Now next. From beginningless time until now, we have wandered in samsara due to the power of diluted ignorance. See, in this season, beginningless time, there's a lot of questions when the world is began. It's a beginningless. Yes, that makes sense. You see. Look at the space. I usually refer that. When the space began, no one can say when the spaces began. Space is beginningless, infinite. You go east side, infinite. West, go infinite. It's infinite in the 10 directions. You go up so much, you can reach anything. Endless. So no beginning, no end. So likewise, this world is beginningless. Of course, in between, there is up and downs, all in the play of the impermanence. Sometimes world all dissolve into space. From this space, the planet manifests. The galaxies manifest. Look at the star. How many stars there are? Can you count the stars? It's countless stars. Sometimes they dissolve. Sometimes they manifest. It's all play of the impermanence. You see. We're trapped in our own cocoon. We're confined in our own small world. And we're suffering there so much. So we're coming from beginningless time up until now. Look at this. How much we went through, we don't remember. We forgot. Even this life we're forgetting, isn't it? What we did yesterday, today we forgot, How you can say, I can remember, yes, other life. Very difficult. So look at this. It says, from beginningless time until now, we have wandered in the samsara. How we wander in samsara? Is that due to the power of diluted ignorance. You see, due to the ignorance, we are wandering into samsara. See, now, ignorance is where? ignorance within us, not outside. See, this is what we have to pay attention. Since we are all Dharma practitioners, not just intellectualize, just to understand. This is our body. Body that what we have now here is not mysterious. This form we have, body. Now you see, because this body we are feeling. I feel good, I feel not good, just feeling. See. Then we have perception. Good, not good, right, wrong, big, small, all the different colors, perception that we have now. Then with that, we have this called perception, and then mental formation. Then a lot of activities in the mind. We create cause. It's called formation, mental formation. That is planted on the seed in the consciousness. So do you know this 5, what is they called? 5 skandha. Okay, the 5 skandha. It's called the 5 aggregates. See. This is with us now. Now look at the with this 5 skandha, 5 aggregates. I am holding as I. This is me here. This is me, I am. Very important. Untouchable. I cannot touch. It's very sensitive, It's very fragile. See. As we take a lot of pictures. This is when I was 10 years old. It's me. Right now I'm old. How you can say this is me, But still, this is when I was 10 years old. This is me when I was 20 years old. This is me when I was 50 years old, growing. And this is me now I'm here, These all are different, but still so I am something concrete, permanence. You see? And how much we cherish this body. We sacrifice all. Lot of things we sacrifice to protect this I. So this everybody shares. If it animals, all human beings, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, everybody. Always. That's first of all, that's called ignorance. Okay. We don't realize how this all are just illusory nature. With regard to this, as mentioned, I desire for peace and happiness. How much I work for my peace and happiness. How much I work hard to free from suffering. Just for this. To this, we don't think for next life. This life. All the businesses we're doing for this life. Everything we're making, all the effort for this life, for peace and happiness, isn't it? See, this practical thing. I'm not saying these are bad, but these are reality, how we are functioning. Then within that dimension, now reflect. How much I'm making the cause of suffering. How much I'm making benefit, creating a benefit for this life, others. creating benefit is very little, few. Making mistake is so huge. You see, because we are so ignorant. As long as there's denial will come anyway, first ignorance. So look at how the ignorance is about. Ignorance doesn't mean so stupid. Ignorance is very smart to make mistake. Okay. All these weapons are made from ignorance. Okay. So look at this, just reflect ourselves. So if you investigate a little bit further, see my form, my feeling, my perception, my formation, the consciousness, if you separate this all, it's not just one. It's many things come together. Many things come together, and then it's all put together, it's called interdependent, interconnected. All are put into interconnected. That is what's good. When we know it's all interconnected, interdependent, then it's illusory nature. The continuity of from last year now is just we're holding as one. It's just ignorance. Like a water running, river running. When the river is running, I will say, I saw this river yesterday. I saw this river yesterday or last month, last year. Actually, the river I saw, the water yesterday, last year, is gone. What I'm seeing now is different from yesterday, from last year. But without realizing that, oh yeah, I saw this. I was here. The river is a little decrease or increase, but same river, we say. So the delusion, how it plays in our mind. So attachments comes from there. The aggression comes from there. So aggression and attachment is a part of the ignorance, which will come here. So first, we should see this. Then next it said here, driving about helplessly by the wind of afflictive emotions. See, not finding the authentic part of the virtue. This is why we need Dharma to study, practice. See, based on this ignorance, then the delusion of the mental affliction, all different mental afflictions manifest from there. All the karmas we make from there, the karma of the samsara, nirvana. So karma is not a Buddhist belief. Some people think Buddhists believe karma. So it's something like it's a belief system. If you believe, there's karma. If you don't believe, there's no karma. If that is the case, I argue, don't believe karma. It's a burden, you know. But that's not the way. It's a universal. You see. Like say, no, in the Buddhist we say suffering of birth, suffering of aging, suffering of sickness, suffering of death. Everybody go through this. Not only Buddhists, you know. See, if it is only Buddhists who are aging, you know, suffering, the sickness, death, this is all Buddhists believe this, you know. But everybody go through this. So Buddha, with great wisdom, compassion, better reflect on this, prepare. So we say, I'm young, but I need to pay attention my aging, sickness, and death. I'm not old, I'm young. my health is just perfect, you know, and why I need to worry about it? Maybe not right now. You are healthy, good. That doesn't mean you will not get sick. It doesn't mean you will not age. It doesn't mean one day you'll die, you know. Reflect on this. That means you have to study, practice Dharma, the wisdom of Buddha. Some people think this is spiritual. I say it's not spiritual. It's the path. It's a practical approach to encounter all our confusion or suffering, you know. Look at the old people, very old people that cannot see, cannot walk with the walking stick. Such a depressing. So when it comes to you, what you will feel, that time, if you have Dharma practice, if you have really experienced the Dharma, physically, yes, you are aged, but mentally, you're so kind of, you know, alert. You have precious mind. You age with the dignity. You get sick with the dignity. You see, you die with a peaceful mind. That's the purpose of the Dharma study practice. It's not something that's spiritual. Those who are interested, oh, he or she is very spiritual, you know. So I'm not spiritual. So that means I don't have to go through this, you know. You see, so we have to convey the Dharma to everybody in the world. Dharma is the method to encounter all the samsaric confusion, samsaric suffering. So here is the Dharmakit is making very important point why we need to study practice Dharma. Because these mental delusions, mental afflictions, here means he said, you know, here the wind of afflictive emotion, the wind means the activities of the mind, create the karma. So, you know, mind keeps so busy creating karma. It's wind, you know, restless. The mind is restless, going every corner, you know, digging all the informations. It's a spy, you know. The karma of the mind is spying you, you know, without your realization, you know. So that's why we just see how Buddha's wisdom is so powerful. Then one important point here, you have to reflect, you say, these mental afflictions that we have, the root cause of suffering, can only handle by the Buddha's wisdom, by the Dharma teaching, not by technologies, okay? No matter how sophisticated technologies are, they only aid, they only support to develop more mental afflictions instead to reduce our mental afflictions. So Dharma is the only one which can tackle, persecute mental affliction. It's not just a spiritual thing. It's not a religious thing. It's the practical. We should understand the Dharma, how Dharma is so precious. You see, cannot replace by anything in the samsara. You may stay in a very luxurious life, palace, but cannot help to purify our mental afflictions. You see, we may have a very delicious lunch, will not help us to get rid of our mental afflictions. Mental afflictions can only purify by the wisdom, by the bodhicitta, for these factors. So there's, in the Buddhist study, there's two things: to study and practice too. First, you have to study by hearing the teachings, by reading the books, and then to contemplate whether it makes sense or not. Once you are convinced that makes sense, then say, yeah, I understand. Is that enough? But not enough, because our mental afflictions are dear. So now practice comes. There comes next, the study and practice. Very important. Sometimes our Buddhist college, there's you go to Buddhist college like this, you get some certificate for your career life to get a job. That's not enough. Like a modern university, Once you understood the Buddhist teaching on this, now you dedicate for the retreat. Go to retreat, reflect, purify. Some retreat also practitioners, they chant mantra, lot of mantra, hundreds of thousands of millions of mantra. They expect that chanting mantra will help to reduce all the mental affliction. That doesn't do as well. You cautiously focus, purify. Otherwise, let us chant this mantra 400 million, for world peace. Expecting the world will become so peaceful by chanting million mantras. World is getting worse, Where are the power of the mantra goes? Because we are not paying attention in our mind. See? So we have to directly focus, prosecute, purify, persist. Then you see, look at this also very important. In this life, there are some individuals, some young people with bad friends, they drink alcohol. They become alcoholic. Then after some years, they cannot stay without alcohol because they're so habituated, Even this life, when we face such kind of difficulties, now in this mental affliction, as mentioned here, from beginningless lifetime, we are so habituated. So look at how much we have to pay attention. There comes the perseverance. See, this is what's called perseverance, effort. We need year after year, day by day, focus on those. Not just chanting mantra, like this. When mental afflictions manifest, that time, we just focus on Dharma teachings, impermanence on the Buddha path. Look at the suffering of the sentient beings, the causalities. They are very important. So impermanence is not a Buddhist belief. Impermanence, every composite phenomena are subject of change. See, never stay in 1 second. Going through, impermanence. That's our nature. Look at our mind. How much our mind is changing. It's impermanent. You look at this, that there's nothing to grasp. There's nothing to fixate it. Let go. Let go of these mental afflictions. All the suffering in the samsara, the product of the mental afflictions. All the suffering in the samsara, you see, anywhere you go, all over, all the kind of obstacles, all the undesirable conditions we face is product of our mental affliction. It's within, not outside. Outside is just conditions, the cause we created in our mind. So that's the Dharma practice. See, so we follow the Dharma joyfully. No? It's in my own hand. I don't have to ask their permission. I have my own, all the ability, power within me. That's the Dharma practice. Sometimes they say, please give me some blessings so that my bodhisattva will grow. You know, of course, yes. But you have to make effort to grow your Dharma bodhisattva. Buddha said, you know, I show you the path for liberation, but you have to liberate by yourself. So you understand, Buddha said, you should understand that liberation is within you. So Buddha was very frank, you know. Buddha didn't say, you worship me, then I will give you all the blessings, you know. Because it doesn't work, you know. Buddha was very sincere, you know, very practical. See, what Buddha can do, what Buddha can give teachings, and what responsible we have ourselves. I know I'm talking here, but look at it in my mind, you know. I'm talking here, Buddha is smiling, look at him, you know. He's having a big mouth, you know. But look at his own mind, you know. But I'm sharing, I'm sharing my weakness to everyone, you know. So then everybody should see our own weakness and then get out of that. We have Buddha nature, okay. The effulgence, the mind of the enlightenment is totally, you know, within us. Our mind is, our nature of the mind never changes. Even you go to the hell realm. No. So enlightenment seed is within us. So now we have to make effort to know this seed is planted in the fertilized ground and let it grow from the practice of loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. Make effort then. Reveal ourselves. From there, we can achieve the fearlessness. See? We will not achieve fearlessness by having a lot of protection, court, you know, pictures, you know, we have a lot of pictures there and put a lot of quotes, a lot of mantras, these are protection. They are just reminding. The actual fearlessness achieved from within us. So Miller ever said, you know, in the previous Buddhist, Miller ever said, I was so stupid. I was confused in the confusion. And I was grasping everything as real. But now, because of my great teacher, Martha, gave me the wisdom how to see all this confusion is nothing but emptiness. Everything is functions within the Mahamudra. Everything is just a manifestation. So this comes through the study, practice. Not something we believe, like this, but you study, you practice, and then purify all mental afflictions that we have. We should recognize our weakness It's very important. First recognize, then see what we can do, how to purify them. It's not just only this life. As mentioned here, we have wandered from beginning start time. Sometimes, I'm sure sometimes we become so rich, so famous. Sometimes we went to hell realm, Holy Ghost, animal life. So many lives we went through. And now what we have, all is just gone. This life, also you become so famous, rich, at the time of death, everything's like mirage. You cannot bring even a cent with you, a penny. You cannot bring a penny with you. You have to leave everything behind. Look at our body, how much we cherish. How much we spend money for this body to protect. No, look at this, But one day we'll be left behind. So look at this, make this conclusion. One day, without choice, even I live 100 years, I have to leave this behind. For at that time, all this energy I spend, for what? So I must practice Dharma. Practice Dharma for myself and for all other sentient beings. And Buddha's teaching is for every sentient beings. So this is what say here, not finding the authentic path for path of virtue. He said authentic means to free from samsara. Okay. Authentic path, the method to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. Not just individual, not just regular virtue, but virtue which makes a cause for you to free from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. It's a very important point here. So Namak is saying, because of this, now I'm writing all the rest, okay, for this method. Oh, there's only Dharma can purify, uproot our mental afflictions. You become famous will not help us to free from mental affliction. You become rich will not help us to purify mental affliction. We can free from our mental afflictions by the Dharma practice. Okay, yes. Dharma is not just praying, as mentioned, not chanting some mantras, making some small offerings, and making some beautiful dharmas, But sit on your cushion, reflect, meditate, okay? Sometimes when we depress, we use some melody, for the beautiful chanting. It helps me to say. Okay, now here, there's just as total in the middle of an ocean, big ocean. This example, getting its neck, the turtle's neck, right through the whole of the yolk. This example, just see, This example is in many texts, in Bodhja Avataram, in the jewel ornamental preparation, And the word of my perfect teacher there in this all have this. It's saying, just imagine in a big ocean, so huge ocean. In that ocean, there's a turtle, a blind turtle. Inside the ocean, comes up every 100 years on the surface, just a glimpse and go down. And the yolk here has a hole in the center, floating east to the west, south to the north. It depends on the wind it blows. So it will be very difficult to say, very difficult to meet the total head in the whole of the yolk. You just imagine, very difficult. The total is blind. Yolk doesn't stay in one place, it's so difficult. But still it's possible. One day it is possible to meet the total's head in the whole of the yolk. Now here, by the power of merit, we have now gained a body with the leisure's endowments. These two qualities. Leisure means we have time to study, practice. So sometimes we say, do you have a leisure time? Can we meet? Oh, yes, I have to, tomorrow I have time. No, we can have lunch together. So we have leisure time to study, to practice now. Endowment, a condition. You have a clear eye, clear ear to listen Dharma, physically good, all these good conditions. So time and good condition is true. Very important. There are some individuals don't have time, just enslaved by their work. Day and night they work. Some they have no condition. So we have this kind of condition. Okay. Time, and this is not because of some accident, but because of power of the merit. We have accumulated enough merit to have this condition. It's a very rare. So contemplate on the rarity nature of the precious human life. So it's a, don't squander it away, but take hold of its essence. Means utilize this precious human life. Don't waste this precious human life. Nowadays, as you know, in the workplace, you see, the workplace, your time is money. Because you are paid in hours, like 8 hours work, 10 hours work, and you get that much paid. So your time is very precious. So now, here, what it says, this precious human life is not just only for this life, not just only for next life, but to free from samsara. You see, to achieve Buddhahood is dependent on this precious human life. See. So yes, Dhammakita says, to take advantage of this is my heartfelt advice. My heart advice. Sincere, yeah, heart advice is sincere, from my heart, I'm saying this for you. If anybody takes this like this kind of advice in their life, they study, practice, meditation, if Dhammakita sees that, he feels so happy. for him, it's much happier if somebody practice Dharma than giving him just a truck of gold. No? Because that individual can free from samsara to achieve enlightenment. So see these Bodhisattvas, how they carry message of the Buddha first, Secondly, how they carry the burden of the sentient beings. They want every sentient being free from samsara. But we are so just with the relentless confusion deep in the samsara. Very difficult to get out of that. So Bodhisattva has a very heavy heart, those who take the responsibility. But those who take the advantage, doesn't matter. See, those who take the advantage of people, they take advantage of as much as they can and they leave. But those great Bodhisattvas who take the responsibility of the sentient beings, then when the sentient beings are suffering, their heart is very heavy. So if somebody taking refuge in Buddha Dharma Sangha, sit down, practice bodhicitta, and they feel so happy. That's the greatest offering. So please remind that, take that in your heart. So when you're sitting in the front of Buddha, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Now I sit down, meditate bodhicitta, so that everybody can free from samsara. And Buddha has unobstructed wisdom. Don't think Buddha's went, Buddha's still with us. His wisdom, compassion is still with us. So that's the greatest offering to Buddha. So first reflect how precious human life is, how precious it is. This precious human life has the ability to make a condition to free from samsara. This precious human life has a condition to develop bodhicitta. Okay. That's why it's called precious. Not just this blood, the skin is the precious, This blood in the flesh is nothing precious. But the condition we have, that makes that kind of precious. So from today, build this determination. Yes, I have the precious human life. Now I dare not waste this precious human life. I must practice Dharma. No. This Dharma practice, not just only this life, not just only for me, for all sentient beings, and for my freedom from samsara, to achieve enlightenment. So, see, look at this. I must make effort. I cannot waste this precious human life. No. When you're really sick, you cannot practice Dharma. Full of pain mentally, you try to meditate, your pain takes over your attention. No. So to get used to it, right now you have to make effort. Get used to it. It's all matter of, there's Nagarjuna said, the habit, there's two habits, bad habit and good habit. It's all, the habits are the manner of your, how God used to it. Since the bad habits is cause of suffering, just make sure you should habituate it in the good manner. Virtuous mind. Follow it. Everything's habit, As I mentioned, the alcohol is habit. Otherwise,
like parents, their child who are habituated to the alcohol, and the parents says it's so bad for you, this destroy your life, no, not good. And also his friends will say also not good for you. And he realized that is not good, but they habituated the propensity that has planned. Very difficult to give up. Without a cup of drink, no, he becomes restless because the habit. So we have to purify the habit. That's what kind of meditation practice is about. You know, it's not just something special. You know, something becomes spiritual. You know, it's this way how you become habituated. You know, you follow into that path. Then after some time, it makes you very easy. You know, so like for example, this table, you look at the table as mentioned in the 5 skandha. Look at the table. When you see it's a good table. Oh, I like this table. This is so good. And then I become so habituated to this table. I attach to the table because I was introduced. This table is so good. But then the other teacher comes, oh, this table is very temporary. This is just, you know, made from many causes, conditions. This is just a display of many causes, conditions. It's illusory nature. Then I say, oh, okay. Then I habituated that way. Then I no longer attached to the temple. See? So this is what you hear. That is all can done in the human life, precious human life. Very important boat to cross the ocean of samsara. Okay, the next, number 3 is the number 2, yes, number 2. Since even after obtaining a human body, meeting with the, there's 2, with the victor's doctrine. Here, victor is Buddha. Doctrine is the Dharma. Buddha's Dharma, the Buddha Dharma. It's difficult, and even hearing the sound Buddha. So Buddha, to hear that is in this world is difficult. So we may think, as we as a Buddhist, we think, oh, Buddha's name is everywhere, you know, but not many people hear that, you know. Very difficult to hear that. Even they heard the Buddha's name, they don't pay attention. Oh, Buddha was just another guy who found Buddhism. Sometimes they say Buddhism is nihilistic, the emptiness talking about, you know. What is about, you know. So very difficult to see. Look at how many Buddhists we have in the world. Not many. Now they're finding Buddhists are the most who's declining. Because we are so oriented in this life. This 21st century is a life of wealth, family. We are so oriented on that. Not Buddha's teaching following it. So yes, you know, sound, Buddha means Buddha, the sound. To hear that also difficult. In this world, it's difficult to see. Well, having this opportunity to turn in the sublime Dharma be taught. See, that taught to practice diligently is my heartfelt wisdom, as earlier mentioned. First, too difficult to achieve this precious human life. How difficult it is. Once you have this precious human life, how difficult to hear the Dharma teachings. How many people interested to take the interest of the Dharma teachings? So difficult. Look at all difficult sides. Then once you are in the Dharma teachings, you appreciate, you rejoice. So I'm so fortunate. I have the Dharma teaching to study, practice. Not only just cope this life, but to free from the pain of samsara, to achieve the full liberation. Yeah. So that is good. Bebetuba said, diligent. It's called diligent. Now next, you're saying here how difficult to meet the authentic master. Number 3, when you have met a qualified guru, means authentic guru, who is difficult to meet. So the quality of the guru, the teacher, you see, look at the jewel ornament of liberation in that text. The section, I think, chapter number 3. In that, the spiritual qualities mentioned step by step. In the Vinaya, there's a spiritual quality of the guru. In the Mahayana, there's a qualities of the guru. In the Vajrayana, there's a quality of the guru. First, look at those qualities. What qualities is necessary to be a guru? No, it's not anybody who talks Dharma teaching may not be qualified as a guru. Like here, I'm sitting talking, no. So don't think you should not think I'm a qualified teacher, but I'm a messenger. Okay, conveying this teaching message. Okay, that's very important. We look at those qualities of the teacher. Very important. It's not easy. Regarding to this, you see, even if you go to school, college, university, how important the teachers, the lecturers have the quality, ability. No, any university where this famous, that this university is very famous because the lecturers are so good. They give very good lesson about the science, mathematics, economic, law. No, they give total kind of understanding of those about. So those individuals who graduated from that place, university, those students are so famous. So he or she went to this university, you see, because of the lecturer, not the house. Same thing in the Buddha's teaching. Especially in the Buddha's teaching, more difficult, have more responsibility. To cross samsara is not easy. No. We have to cross from the borderline, the samsara, to nirvana. We need such a great visa to get to nirvana. Who can issue that visa? Has to have such great power. Not just a name, this is such a so important. It's not a name. It's a practical approach that what the Buddha said. So that's what's called authentic, qualified master. It's very difficult to find. So when you have met a qualified guru who is difficult to meet, you see, then once you met that qualified teacher respectfully serve the Guru by means of the three modes of pleasing. So then first, the teacher's responsibility, the teacher should have all this qualities to be a teacher. Okay. Then with the students who want to study with that teacher, then there's a preconditions, making available of all the necessary things, and the serving, physically serve, and the most important is practice. So these three, so what the teacher taught, they must practice. And that makes the authentic teacher very happy. Just for example, Milarepa, who attended Marpa, and Marpa said, he was so obedient, whatever I said. So therefore, I gave all the teachings to him, Milarepa. Milarepa has nothing to offer, There's nothing, but he made his teacher so happy because he followed whatever Marpa said, even risking his life. And Marpa was not taking advantage of Milarepa, but very sincere Milarepa was sure to perform samsara, Otherwise, Marpa said, I can select Milarepa in my life, so I can enjoy my life, So this is the point, very important point. Okay. And then, as the test of the elixirs, this means which transforms into gold. All this metal transforms into gold. The result of the Guru's pit instruction as the blind. See. So the spiritual teaching, the spiritual master teaching, all the precious teachings that authentic master has given to you, take in your heart and practice it day and night. You experience it, not just satisfied with the intellectual. Yes, okay, I'm so happy. I understood what you said, That's the beginning. And the beginning is not enough. Now next, you practice, test it. Test means experience it. Like food, you eat it. Your delicious food, display on your table, in your plate. It's a food, it's so delicious, scrumptious, so tasty. But if you don't taste it, what's benefit? If you experience the taste of the food, then you can say, yes, I have experienced the taste of the food. It's really delicious. Likewise, bring the Dharma in your heart. Look at all the weakness of our mental afflictions, our attachment, our aversion, pride, jealousy, all what we have in our mind. That all just let go. We can make it that. We can make it our mental affliction to go, no matter how hard that may be. Sometimes people say, oh, Dharma practice is so difficult, it's so very difficult. Dharma is not difficult. Our mental affliction makes it difficult to us, See, while you are practicing Dharma, the mental afflictions manifest constantly, makes it difficult. So Dharma is designed to purify these mental afflictions. So we should be very grateful about that. As earlier I mentioned, Dharma is the only one, a remedy to purify our mental afflictions. So I'm so fortunate in the world no, in this 21st century to study, practice Dharma. So that will make your spiritual master happy. That, no, when you make the spiritual master happy, that means you are in the right track. Yeah. Otherwise, you are off the track. In the wrong place, you are going, you know. See. Instructions is sublime. You know? So cherish, said, to cherish this means to cherish the spiritual master's instruction, the practice of Dharma, how to purify our mind, to see the mind as its nature, and let all the delusions go. These delusions, they come, they are manifesting here, there, everywhere, sometimes very positive ways, just try to protect you. They come to protect you. You feel that, but in reality, they destroy us. We should recognize that. We should have such kind of awareness and mindfulness to recognize this and purify. And it's good to go the fourth. That the root of all good qualities and foundation of all training is to accept the three jewels as a supreme refuge. All their instructions, both coarse and subtle, without exception, to hold them as dear as your own life is my heartfelt advice. Now, first here's mentioned taking refuge. First, you see, taking refuge is such, as Pasha should say, taking refuge is not just to become Buddhist, but it's a path to free from samsara, a path to achieve enlightenment. We should see as a cause, okay? Cause, very important. Then taking refuge is the foundation of all the training, the Vinaya training, the Bodhisattva's training, the Vajrayana training. There are so many trainings, the three trainings, it's called training of the morality, training of the meditative concentration, training of the special insight, these three training. So there's so much training is there. So refuge is the foundation of all this. First you understand that, okay. So that we don't treat taking refuge is something preliminary, rather taking refuge, practicing refuge is the foundation of all the practice. Now, in that regarding to this refuge, the accepting the three jewels as a supreme refuge. Buddha is the supreme teacher. Okay. Dharma is the supreme path. Sangha is a supreme guide. There's no greater teacher than there's no greater teacher in the world. No. There's no other, as you said, there are no other greater teachers in the world than Buddha. But because Buddha taught us how to free from entire suffering. which is very difficult. To know the details of the course. Even bodhisattvas of 8th Bhumi, 10th Bhumi, they don't know all. Only Buddha's wisdom can know all the cause and the subtle causality of the samsara and nirvana. That's why Buddha is a supreme teacher, taught complete teaching, the Theravada system, the Vinaya system, Mahayana, all this Buddhicitta's practice. Look at the Vajrayana, all those teachings, complete taught by Buddha to uproot all delusions, mental affliction. That's why Buddha said, I teach you to all the teachings. But don't expect me to liberate you. So you have to liberate yourself. So that then Dharma is the supreme path. Dharma is the actual protector. Means when we practice Dharma, we get the protection. Like for example, if you suppose you practice bodhicitta, and then the individual comes, irritates you, and you are prepared because to practice the bodhicitta, how to handle that individual, and that individual irritates you, and you have the bodhicitta, and the bodhicitta what you have, then see that person cannot irritate you, no matter what that person does, because you are well prepared, you are well protected by the practice of bodhicitta. You have all the method to handle that difficult conditions. Plus, you see, we say all mother sentient beings, you see. So that person who irritates you is one of your mother sentient beings. So instead of you are being angry, you have compassion. See, you have loving kindness, you have compassion, bodhicitta, So that's the Dharma is the protection, the supreme protection, supreme method. That's why we take refuge in Dharma. You see, we take refuge in Dharma, Buddha as the supreme teacher who taught all those teachings. We take refuge in the Dharma. All that are mental afflictions, shortcomings, totally can uproot through Dharma practice. That's why we take refuge in the Dharma. And the Sangha is supreme guide, excellent example who practices Dharma all the way to Buddhahood. So these three, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, are the foundation of the Vinaya training, Bodhicitta training, Vajrayana training. That's what it's saying. The root of all good qualities and the foundation of the trainings is to accept the three jewels as a supreme refuge. There's no greater refuge than this Buddha Dharma Sangha. It's not just something we believe, but it's something that cause we should understand. It's not something the Buddhists believe. This is everybody's interest. If anybody interested, have to go through this. Okay, it's not a bias. It's not a sectarian. It's the reality nature, how it goes. It's a mode of abiding. So we go through this and practice in this, and that will give you such a great joy. Okay. Confidence comes from this. If I am really desire to free from suffering. This is the way to follow. If I want to become Buddha, this is the way to follow the path. If I want to train my mind, this is the way how to train the mind. And you feel so grateful. That will bring the greatest joy in your life. Peace, joy, follow that. See. Yes, as you know, all their instructions of both coarse and subtle. All the Buddha's teaching is a mission. The first beginning, rough. This, then it becomes more subtle, then it becomes more emptiness. To realize this temple, first you have to realize this temple is illusory nature. Okay, it's interdependent, it's interconnected, it's not one. Then you see, everything is interdependent, interconnected. It's not just one thing. It's illusory nature. Then step by step, then you see there's nothing exists independently in one instant. Then slowly you realize emptiness. So this very nature of the emptiness of this temple is still here. We can use it, but nature is emptiness, inseparable. So there you have no fear of any. Free from all the fears. So great Bodhisattva has no fear because of this. So the basis of this all training is Buddha Dharma Sangha. So without exception, to hold them as dear as your own life is my heartfelt advice. Okay? We keep here this much. This morning is okay. Thank you so much.